Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. How do you expect the Russians to ever mend fences, for instance, with Poland? How could you say that Poland would like to, mend fences with Russia, ever? Historical events obviously shaped the national conscience of both countries and nations. I'm talking about obviously Poland and Russia. And in order to move forward, to be progressive, you have to look back and reassess the past together and reach a conclusion. And if you really want to have maybe not necessarily a friendship, but at least an neutral attitude towards one another, you have to agree on certain past events and clarify them and reached as I said, a status quo. Stay there and stay with that, and from then on you can build, if you want, in time, a friendship, if it's desired. If not, at least an neutral, I don't want to say civilized, but at least, decent behavior between the nations. The problem is, in this case, with Ukraine, Poland has nothing directly with or against directly with Russia. Russia doesn't have anything directly with Poland. That's two countries that have nothing to do with one another in the current circumstances. I'm talking about Russia did not send a missile to Poland. Poland did not send a missile to Russia. They are again at odds by association, and the association is NATO and then Ukraine. And that is by Poland's choice, not by Russia's choice. Russia has a problem with a neighbor. It's going to beat up the neighbor. Now, if the other neighbor with other neighbors are going to join to support that neighbor, they inserted themselves in this neighbor and that neighbor's scuffle. So Poland here is the one who introduced itself as a country into the whole thing. Obviously, the argument can be made that Poland is scared, or not scared, but concerned with its safety. That's true, and it wants guarantees, and sees this neighbor beating the other neighbor, sees itself as being the next possible victim, which I think is very far-fetched, because Poland is part of certain kind of alliances that would trigger the friends to come over, and Russia cannot really win against them unless they have a mutual destructive nuclear war. So then Poland introduced itself here, creating problems for the Russians. Again, that shows me, and should show, that the Poland again wants something with Russia. Now, how would you think that these guys, Poles and the Russians, will mend fences? Will this be positively working towards becoming neutral, or at least, average relationship or friendship? No, this will deeper create problems, will make things worse between these countries. It seems like Poland, by doing this, doesn't really care, and Russia says, okay, bring it on. The problem is here that, not a problem, but one of them is that Poland supports Ukraine with everything but troops on the ground, even though the Russians say, yes, Poland has troops on the ground. But that's what the Russians say. Now, you know that the latest aid package coming from the West, the ones who fight Russia in Ukraine, is light tanks coming from France, armored vehicles coming from Germany, coming from United States of America, and the next move is going to be tanks. I have no doubt about it. And Poland is right ahead of the curve already. Wants tanks to be sent over there. Now, how should the Russians see this? Not as a friendly act. I think that's a direct involvement. They've been a direct involvement since the beginning. If the Poles sent, or any other country, sent anything to my enemies to support them against me, I would consider them active participants. Anything. Anything. Now, this article comes from Ukrinform, and it's from the 7th of January 2023. This is the title. Poland might provide Ukraine with Leopard tanks. It not might, it will. Take my word if you don't want to take my word, but just be patient then about a month and you're going to find out. I think they're still waiting for the approval coming from the big boss, United States of America. And the United States of America will give the approval, therefore other countries will start doing that. Germany is ready to send Leopard 2 tanks. So I don't see why Poland wouldn't. And if they do it all together, they hope that they're going to hide, like cowards, behind the number. Hey, it was him too. Hey, we all together here, hold the line, the Russians are coming, basically. Instead of saying, yeah, man, I'm by myself, fuck off, what are you going to do about it? Basically, kind of like Poland is doing right now. Yeah, man, I'm doing this, what are you going to do? Are you going to hit me? You weren't there. Why? Because I'm going to kick your butt. Right, America? Yes. Now that's a weasel, hyena, coyote, jackal, bottom feeder way of doing things. Like the Baltic states, which were quiet lately. Very interestingly. Quiet lately. I don't know what's going on over there. Poland, which has already transferred a significant amount of heavy weapons to Ukraine, is considering the possibility of supplying German-made Leopard main battle tanks after receiving replacements from South Korea and the USA. So they will do that after they get replacement. Yeah, okay. I guarantee you that's going to happen. This is stated in an extensive report by the Wall Street Journal with reference to Polish authorities. Poland gave Ukraine more than 240 modernized Soviet-type tanks early in the war. Did you hear that? 240 modernized Soviet-type tanks early in the war. Now, Poland is considering a request from Ukraine to donate its German-made Leopard main battle tanks, a senior Polish diplomat said. Yeah, that's going to happen, I have no doubt. This information was confirmed by another European official from the Czech Republic involved in the process of delivering military equipment to Ukraine. But you guys are not actively involved in the war. No. Then you know why? That is like, Russia, you have no right to hit us. That's all. We can do whatever hanky-panky we want. We can do this, but you cannot hit us whatsoever. I wonder how long will Russia hold that, hold it off. And I'm quoting, they are for real considering giving anything just to help Ukraine, the official said. It's not to help Ukraine, it's to help United States. But hey, that's how the story goes. Poland has more than 240 Leopard tanks, enough for 2 tank brigades. According to the director of the Polish Institute of International Affairs, Warsaw, Sławomir Dobecki, the pace at which the country could provide tanks to Ukraine will depend on how quickly Poland will receive replacements from South Korea and the US. So the decision is made, it's just a matter of time. At the same time, it is noted that Berlin must also approve the move. They will, because they don't want to be involved themselves. And they're asked like a dog in heat by Ukraine to give them Leopard 2. So they will postpone as much as they can. These guys are weasels, are cowards. They try to make moves. This is how it is. United States want these weasels to do things. They're afraid, or they know sometimes it's against their own national interest to continue how should I put it, instigate problems with Russia. They know that. They're too close. The problem is the United States is far, Poland is close. So they know that if Russia gets crazy, you're going to be closer than, let's say, Berlin to be, bombed or neutralized or whatever. So then they are cautious with this. And they are not that eager to do certain things. But they don't want to upset the boss. which gives them perks, which is money, aid, troops, defense, and are under their occupation technically, if you want to be honest about it, with all these NATO troops that are only one directional. I don't think Polish troops have any bases in, let's say, Los Angeles or on the west U.S. coast, defending the west flank of the NATO against the Chinese or the whomever going to come from there, the guys from the Easter Island. Anyway, so here it is. They don't want to upset those guys. They have their own grievances against the Russians. They're scared because they know the Russians can fuck them up, but they have to do something. And Germany doesn't want to upset their bosses, under which occupation they still are under since 1945. They have to work on this because they have no balls. Remember, Germany, nothing in between the legs, just, or maybe they have a goose bump and they think that's a ball. Anyway. So then you have Germany and it says, well, I want to help, I'm going to help, I'm helping. But if they see someone else, they will push that one to the fire. Which in this case, yes, Poland, give them Leopard, thinking that that will postpone their turn into coughing up and exposing themselves possibly to Russian retaliation. That's what it is. Weasels, cowards. Anyway, that's their own interest, but they're caught by their master. Now, it says, as reported, the Leopards are much more heavily armored and more protected against anti-tank weapons that the vehicles France, Germany and the US have so far offered. They will offer them everything. We already know that. I mean, who has doubts is not paying attention. And not only paying attention, it's not hard. It's not hard. If you just look at this war, you don't have to look, for instance, at other interventions. This is how it starts. It starts with the public opinion has to be tendered, shaped, channeled, whatever, to a certain support. And you can just jump steps. You have step 1, step 2, step 3. So it's my mountain stop, mountain slope model, where you start slow and you end up at a desired point, which is give them everything you intended at the beginning. But you have to build, a little bit of tenderize the interest, the public opinion, and don't be so obvious sometimes. So in this case, they started with helmets, automatic weapons, binoculars, condoms, and all that, and they will end up with tanks and airplane after 11 months. So that's a really escalatory move right here. So in this case, they will give them everything they want, they being the West, because after all, the Ukrainians are fighting for them. They fight with the invader. Yeah, all this could have been avoided. That's my point. Avoided by, for instance, NATO being a non-expansionist organization, as they promised to the Soviets, Russians, then Soviets and then Russians, and so on. That's one thing. The other thing is overthrowing the government, the democratically elected government of Yanukovych in 2014, with the outside agencies being involved. That's another blow, and so on. And then non-implementation of Minsk I, Minsk II agreements, 2014, 2015, and all this weasel building up the military since 2015 until 2020, when the Russians try to solve the problem again, talking about their safety, security guarantees with the Americans. American says, fuck off. How about you just do what you're supposed to? And they did. So we are here. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Poland will deliver tanks. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.